Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, folks? How's everybody doing? Happy Thursday. It is December 5th. JTW here with another FOMO live stream, courtesy of Xtrades. I hope everybody is doing well. We're going to, of course, go through kind of what we're seeing here with the markets continuing to make new all-time highs and really making some impressive moves, I would say, breaking out of this triangle pattern to the upside, back testing and pushing higher. Can I review yesterday's SPY plan? Sure, Navy Plum. Happy to do that. ES, again, making good moves here. I went ahead and added another set of fib extensions, assuming that now that we've seen kind of 4 consolidation candles here on the 4-hour chart after touching the 6102 level, that we will probably see a continuation pullback. At least that's what I'm expecting to see. I'd like to see another test of this ascending trend line to really confirm that this is where these fib extensions should be at. So not totally confirmed, but as good as we can do, kind of given the current situation, and trying to be prepared if we do continue up above that 6102 level. So I do have some more fib extensions in place here. Did I hide that? Yeah, so the 6120 would be another interesting target to keep an eye on. And then if we break over that, generally speaking, and this is a bit anecdotal, what I feel like we tend to see is a push up to the 0.618 fib extension. If we could break over that 0.382, we might see some resistance around the 50%. But generally speaking, if I'm kind of picking targets, and again, you know, we have no price history, no price data or action to really use to help gauge where these price targets should be. So it's really kind of, you know, best technical theory guess. It really is what it is. Again, generally speaking, I would say over that 38.2, we tend to see the 61.8 sometime shortly after that before we do see a decent pullback. So those are kind of the key levels I'd be watching. If you're looking for some kind of confirmation, that will give you a good risk reward setup, in my opinion. You know, I'd be waiting for a break above 6120.75, then using this current all-time high there at 6102 as your stop loss average down, and shooting for a target up there at 6150. That gives you a pretty good risk reward setup there. About, I mean, just eyeballing it, about, I would say maybe 1.5 to 1 risk reward there. So again, everything overall looking pretty solid as we go to close out 2024. Generally speaking, historically and from a seasonality standpoint, we do see a little bit of a pullback and some profit taking before portfolios rebalance and you know, street traders start to set themselves up in the positions they want to be in for 2025, which generally tends to trigger the quote-unquote Santa rally. So we could see a little bit of a pullback, and again, that pullback could be fairly small, but it might be a good opportunity to get in for some longer term plays, especially if we get a pullback to the 60.72 area. That would be pretty intriguing to me. There's also additional strong support down there at 60.63, so a couple of spots that you could look to load, and then I would keep a stop loss on it. Yeah, probably around that 60.41. Building long-term positions there, giving yourself plenty of time and opportunity to average down or whatever the case might be if you know that winds up being necessary. So anyway, that's what we're seeing from the market in general. Also, just a quick side note for anybody who's been, you know, living under a rock for the last I don't know, 12 hours. Bitcoin has hit over 100,000 for the first time ever. This has been a long sought after target for crypto enthusiasts, I would say. Breaking over that 100,000 mark, that's kind of been the goal. And not only did it break over, but it's kind of made a good push since then. Looked to me like that it really set up a couple of nice, or set up one really nice bull flag here, or actually kind of more of a bullish pennant than a flag. But bullish pennant pattern there, broke out of that, and it looks to be setting up another one here as well. So we could see another big leg up on crypto if this bullish pennant pattern plays out to the upside. So that would look, just so you guys, in case you want to kind of set this up for yourselves, kind of copy my drawings, the way I'm doing this, when I'm looking at this, it kind of looks like that, right? There's your flag of the pennant, or the, and then this would be your kind of the pole for it, right? So that's your, oops, actually that's kind of doubling up on those. This one would really look a little bit more like that, actually. This is the other bullish pennant there. So yeah, anyway, that's what it looks like. Could see a breakout here. It's already testing this morning, so if we see that, we could see another decent leg up on the crypto side of things. So anyway, quick side note there. I know crypto is not something we typically get into, but I think that's a pretty significant moment as far as crypto goes. So let's see if Bitcoin can't maintain that 100K level that's been, like I said, long sought after as a new base of support. All right, so quick trade plan recaps. We had a 2-for Tuesday this week, so we did 2 trade plans. Both trade plans targets hit really nicely. So we'll take a look at that, and then we'll do a quick review of yesterday's SPY plan, and then we're going to do some new trade plans. So for those of you who are in the mix, whether it be in Discord or on YouTube, please go ahead. What's up, Beth? Good to, or no, Beth, is that Be the Boss? I thought I said Beth. Be the Boss. What's up, boss? Hope you're doing well. First time I read that, I was like, Beth the Boss? Be the Boss. Got it. Yeah. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, lots of opportunities in crypto. I personally, and maybe I'm an idiot for this, don't really hold crypto, but I do like to hold crypto related tickers and use that extreme implied volatility to really sell juiced up options contracts and collect premiums on those. We've got a current wheel trade on Wolf. I'm still in Hut, if anybody remembers that one. Hut's been on an absolute tear. I think our cost, I forget what my net cost per share is on that one. I'll have to go back to my spreadsheet and look. I kind of stopped tracking it because it was so far ahead of schedule. But yeah, lots of good opportunities in anything crypto related. In fact, we're going to talk about coin here in just a second. That's a trade plan we did on Tuesday's live stream. Sure, we'll try to take a look at AVGO and also give you thoughts on SOXL. Back in 2017, her Bitcoin will go to 100K. Never thought of yeah. Well, it's I feel like the Bitcoin hitting 100K is the sort of thing that, like, if you keep saying it long enough, eventually you'll be right. But again, that I don't think that like, I'll give you an example. Kathy Wood, how long has she been saying crypto's going to 100K this year, right? And that's been for the last several years. She's like, crypto's going to 100K this year, right? Well, okay, yeah, you were right eventually, but because you were right eventually, does that mean that you provided good analysis and were in any way accurate about that prediction? I would say the answer is no, right? So, I'm not surprised that we've seen it. I think it was an inevitability. But, I think, again, anybody who has been saying it for so long, who's now like, see, I told you so. It's like, okay, yeah, but I could say, I could have said 5 years ago, the S&P's going to 600 plus. If I'm right, 5 years later, does that really benefit me from a trade perspective, or does that help me make money in the short term and compound my gains and do all the things that we're trying to do when we're trading? The answer to that's no, right? So we've got to, timing is everything with this stuff. So anyway, I kind of digress a little bit there. So let's get to, but yeah, we'll take a look, or I'll give you some thoughts on SOXL as well, new trader. So let's take a look at our trade plans from Tuesday's live stream. We did Intel and we did coin. So we did this one pre-market here. In fact, let me stretch this over so we can kind of see where the trade plan really starts. So what did we see here on Intel? Broke down, tried to hold our put entry, but pretty quickly that support where we were holding it right there on that 15-minute candle flipped to resistance here. Let's see what it looks like on the 5-minute. We might have a more clear example of this. Yeah, so here we see, right, it's a little bit easier to see here on the 5-minute. Starting to get those candles closed below. Get your quick little back test right there. Even another, not quite all the way there, but definitely within a reasonable range to consider that a back test as well. But again, back test, either of those, your entry for the downside. So it continued to push down and then really started to push down hard Wednesday. So if you had swung this one, you got to PT1 plus, whoops, for puts. And we back tested PT1 as resistance. That was looking good to continue down, but the market's looking pretty strong right now. Intel moving along with the market trying to recover some of this move. So again, make sure that you're scaling out and moving your stops up as we hit these targets. Again, sometimes all that we'll get is price target one. Sometimes, you know, we have trades that pull us in and stop us out, right? So we don't always hit all price targets on every trade. The goal is to be strategic about profit taking and be smart about moving your stops up to make sure that you aren't letting positive trades go negative. So anyway, Intel, that's 1 for 1 so far to the downside. It is, or does seem to be struggling a little bit here with the 333 SMA on the 5-minute chart. So that'll be interesting to see if we can't start to hold some candles above and even test that as support. If we can, we might see Intel try to recover up to that 2302 level. So keep your eyes on that one and on that 333 SMA there, 5-minute on Intel. Next we have coin. Coin is absolutely flying along with crypto, so no surprises there. Let's take a look at this one also on the 5-minute, so we can talk about where the potential entries were. And this one was definitely a tough one because we never really got a back test on it, so it was really kind of a candle close above, and then you get your confirmation continuation candle right there. But by that point, you're already also about halfway toward PT1. So one thing to kind of consider when you wind up with a potential entry like this, or one thing that I personally like to do, if I take this entry here, knowing that I have a potential resistance there, I can't keep my stop all the way down there at 293.96, right? So you kind of have to adapt and be willing to adjust your approach to using these levels on the fly, depending on how the price action behaves. So in this particular case, if coin was one that you wanted to pursue, we got the break above. We also, with that one candle, flipped Neptune from bearish to bullish, so that's also a nice sign, and also got a good long signal on that candle as well as we flip the flag over. And then you get your candle open and pushes higher, so that's kind of your breakout, no back test kind of potential entry right there. But again, if you take that, you're very close to PT1. So I would say adjust your stop up in those scenarios up to the call entry if you're going to try to chase something like this, because you don't want to get caught here and then wait for it to come all the way back down to 293.96. That's just going to really eat up the premiums on your contracts. And, you know, at that point, we're now back below what was a key resistance that should have acted as support. If it doesn't, that's kind of telling that, again, maybe you got caught in some kind of liquidity sweep or bull trap or whatever the case might be. But long story short, coin did continue higher, did ultimately give us a nice back test of PT1. Also had the 200 SMA right below there. So again, another way to adjust and adapt this plan would be to do something like that and take calls there and ride that for the rest of the targets to the upside. In this particular case, again, using kind of things on the fly, I would have adjusted my stop loss on this to a break below the 333 on the 5-minute there. But ultimately, coin did open up higher on Wednesday and pushed all the way through PT 3 for calls and then some. So that's 2 for 2 from our Tuesday trade plans, and now seems to be hitting this 348.31 daily resistance and finding some struggles there. But again, crypto's also, or Bitcoin is also topping out a little bit at the moment after breaking 100K. So you know, as soon as that decides what it's going to do as far as if it's going to break to the upside or the downside out of this bullish pennant, I think will really be a strong predictor of what's going to happen with coin, and whether or not it does break out and continue higher, or if it goes to fill this gap to the downside, which is pretty significant. If we're using extended hours, there's a gap down, which I personally like to do. There's a gap down here from 341.13 to 331.84. You know, so with that being said, I would you know, certainly be very cautious or eager to take the rest of my profits if coin does break back below that 341.13 level. So that is our market kind of overview and our trade plan recaps. Let's get, oh, I'm sorry. And then Navy Plum wanted me to do a recap of yesterday's SPY plan. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, this one was a really good setup for those of you who have Neptune. But yeah, definitely an interesting day if you're following. So let's kind of talk about this from two perspectives, right? Let's talk about this from just the levels, right? So we saw market open, price action moving. Let me just kind of stretch this out so we can focus on the entire trading day. Actually, you know what? I don't really need these right now, and they might get in the way if we try to move some things around. So I'm going to hide them for now. So this is our stop loss for the call side. This is our stop loss for the put side, just as a reminder. So what do we have? We had a big liquidity sweep below the put entry, never got a candle to close below. That was another sign that things wanted to push higher. We saw this bigger liquidity sweep. We saw a smaller one there, back-to-back candles closing and opening right on our put entry. So really kind of bullish signs there. But if we're talking about this from just the levels alone, you know, again, if you're kind of following the plan to a T, you know, we definitely had confirmed break, even a nice little back test there. We saw some chop and consolidation again. You know, markets kind of looking iffy at times, or just looking a little bit sideways at the moment. That can happen as we can kind of continue to grind through new all-time highs on a pretty regular basis. People start to get a little bit gun shy about continuing to load positions at new all-time highs, but market keeps going up, and scared money don't make money, right? So people will start to participate. I think it's just they're going to be a little bit more methodical about where they take their entry. So clearly traders were focused on this key support on the day there. So like I said, if we're following this plan strictly into the T, definitely had a confirmed break of the call entry. That would have been a good entry point there. Never got to PT1, but did get a really nice test of the put stop loss average down. So again, if I'm in positions and it's going sideways and my premiums are getting eaten up, and we come down to test a potential support level, knowing that I've got an ultimate stop not too much further below, I would definitely consider averaging down there. And again, I'm talking about this strictly from purely looking at the levels, not using any indicators at all. I personally, and we've talked about, in fact, I think we just talked about this on Tuesday, you know, indicators are a big factor in which of these levels I choose to use and how I choose to trade the plan. So, but just using, again, pure levels alone, and kind of talking through how I personally handle situations like that, you know, I can use that as a, okay, I'll potentially add some there and maybe even add some more here and then stop out below, or add some there and then just stop out below. It kind of just depends on the day and what my position sizing is and how I'm performing overall in the day, but just some thoughts there, right? So again, continues to kind of try to break above. Then we do get a confirmed break below and a stop out there. But again, you should have, or I would have, averaged down there. You know, again, I don't know with all that consolidation because I didn't personally play kind of the plan this way. But again, I want to talk about it through levels alone, and then let's talk about it with indicators on. I would hope, or I would think, that with a nice, you know, 3 candle, 15-minute move up from 605.90 all the way up to 606.53, that again, that was potentially enough to go ahead and get you back to break even and either say, okay, this is looking like a choppy day, and just close out all your positions, or at the very least, you know, reduce your net cost per contract and scale out the contracts that you added here. Ultimately would have resulted in a stop out there, though, but then gives us another break above, close enough to a back test of the call entry, and then finally got through, started hitting some of our price targets. Again, these are fib extensions. We had never tested these levels or seen these levels prior to yesterday, and here we see, you know, pretty good resistance flipping to support. So again, pretty pleased with the accuracy on these fib extensions as we continue to grind through new all-time highs. So let's talk about this one more time, but now with indicators on. So very kind of a different look now, right? Now using Neptune, at least, I can see that I've got some pretty key buying pressure areas right there in confluence with the put entry, which is a key support. We saw this liquidity sweep below. When I started to see something like, when I start to see something like this, where we get tests that are a little bit cleaner of that key support buy pressure there, and it gets bought back up and is closing and opening right on that put entry support. We've already seen it hold once. That looks like a really great double bottom setup. That's when I start loading my positions and playing for the call entry, because we've already seen this range kind of play pretty smoothly back here. So then we see this again. So entry there, first take profit there, second take profit there. And then my final take profit was actually at PT2. We're getting too close to the end of the day. And, you know, I had actually made some really good money on that move up. So I was happy with it. The other thing that I liked about this entry a little bit more than this entry here was we also had the 200 coming up just below. So I was using that as, okay, if I'm taking my entry here, I can use this sort of moving support level there at the 200 SMA as a means to kind of have a tighter stop loss on things and give it, I would say, the appropriate amount of room to work out. So let me know if you have any questions about any of that Navy Plum, or if you want me to go any deeper into it. I can bounce back to the SPY plan and we'll talk about any questions you have. I know it's something that a lot of people come to Xtrades for is the daily SPY plan. So I want to make sure that people kind of know how to maximize the moves using those levels and talking about it from a couple of different perspectives there. I hope that helped, or if there's any questions. Is Neptune live? Well, yeah, Neptune is live. I mean, it's, yeah, you can see it there on my charts. It's a you know, premium indicator that I developed myself. It's available for purchase through XHub, or you can shoot me an email at, if you're not in Xtrades, you can shoot me an email at ntsindicator@gmail.com. I'm going to post that there in the live stream. If you have any questions about it, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll be happy to help you out. But I think that they do have XHub available for like non-Xtrades members to make purchases on there. So let me also share that link real quick, just in case. You can just go ahead there. But if you have any questions about it, you can also just shoot me an email. So this would be the link for XHub. All right, so let's get to some of these trade plan requests that we've got here. Yeah, please DM me, Navy. I'm happy to take a look at whatever you want me to take a look at, or talk through whatever you want to talk through. All right, so we've got AVGO and SOXL set up for, or requested for us to take a look at this morning. So let's start with AVGO, Broadcom, and then we'll circle back over to SOXL for new trader. If there are any other trade plan requests, please go ahead. But look into what ISO, just in those cryptos. Okay, that's pretty good to know. Thanks for that, Alex. Please share that. Oh, and any thoughts on Rivian? Yeah, we can try to take a look at that as well. Sorry, I almost missed that because you spelled out the company name and didn't put the... my eyes get attracted to tickers, to the symbols. All right, so Broadcom. Let's take a look at Broadcom. It's been a little while since I've... Let's see, we clearly had a trade plan on it from, man, probably a long time ago. Let's see. Let's zoom out here. Yeah, it looks like the last time I took a look at Broadcom was back in August on a Tuesday live stream by the looks of it. So let's clean up this chart real quick. I'm also going to hide. I need to clean up these object trees a little bit. And some of these tickers, kind of do them as you see them, really. Which, for those of you who are TradingView users, if you aren't taking advantage of the object tree and using it to really kind of organize and interact with all your stuff, all your drawings on your chart kind of on the fly and pretty quickly and efficiently, start using it. It is super helpful. All right, actually, that's not what I need to do. Dotted line, 2 pixel, there we go. All right. Let's take a look at this on the daily. Clearly last time I've charted ABGO and not printed some of these highs, or the price action wasn't anywhere close to them. One of those two things is true. So I just want to, when in doubt, zoom out real quick. See if there are any key levels that stick out now that we're closer to this range. This is an interesting level, but it's nothing confirmed yet. Just one I'll keep an eye on as we kind of go through this. This is another iffy but interesting level. I don't think we've got anything anywhere up in this range prior to that. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. I just want to see if I get any kind of clarity on these two sort of placeholder levels. Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting on the 4-hour, especially considering it's kind of like the ceiling at the moment. We have printed higher, but clearly struggling to break back above that level. And considering that it's minimal price data, I think that that's a pretty decent 4-hour level as well. Also got a pretty clear, at least it looks pretty clear, trend line, although it could start a little bit sooner, or later, I'm sorry, closer to the recent price action. Yeah, that's an interesting spot. I don't think there's anything here. I'm gonna just check. I can already tell it's not lining up correctly. I thought there might have been kind of a pretty clear channel there, but I don't think there is. Okay, so let's jump over to the hourly. Let's get our indicators on. Let's take a look at what we're seeing here on Broadcom. $200s recently crossed below the 333, but they're both curling up. What's up, Chris? Good morning to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Alex, well, listen, if you want to learn to day trade or do TA, and you can use that, I mean, you know, the way that I do it, if there's a chart for it, I can trade it pretty much. I don't care if it's Forex, crypto, futures, whatever it is. Give me a candlestick chart and I can tell you what to do for the most part. Good, glad to hear it, Chris. But yeah, if you're not in Xtrades, come check it out. We do have free trials available and all that sort of stuff. You can DM me or whatever you'd like, and I'm happy to kind of talk through it with you. We also have lots of great things like one-on-one mentoring programs and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you're really interested in furthering your skill set and abilities as a trader and want to focus on education, you know, there are a lot of good people to help you with that within the Xtrades Discord community. Shameless Xtrades plug. Although you're on our YouTube channel, so we're allowed all the shameless plugs we want, right? All right. So let's see. It's a weird, like it's almost like that rejection is near a level, but it's not. It's, yeah, I think there's something here. It just didn't quite get there, but it was probably within a reasonable range. All right, so let's talk about it. What do we want to do here? is this gap down? $333 sitting right there. I'm very torn on this one. As far as where I really like this as an entry, the problem I'm having with this entry is I don't love where the first price target probably needs to be and where the stop loss should be, right? I like this confluence for the stop loss. I think there's a very real possibility that this is PT1. The problem I have with that setup is, I'll show you. Man, it is right there. I thought it was going to be under like the bare minimum 1-to-1 risk reward. It is right there on it. So for those who haven't tuned into these before, generally speaking, when we have this sort of setup where you've got a 1-to-1 risk reward, I would generally say start small and average up. If we can break over price target 1, I think that will open a bigger move. And then you move your stop loss from where the stop loss is at the start of the plan up to the call entry level. And now you have a better risk to reward ratio on those contracts that you'll add. So that's my advice on how to handle this AVGO plan. Start small and scale in. As if we break PT1, also make sure that you're taking profits and moving your stops up at PT1. Take some off. If we do break, add back in. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. All right, those are the targets I like for the upside and our entry again. Remembering that, you know, start off with a few contracts here, scale some out, move your stops up. If we do continue over, add back in, keep your stop moved up. That should work out. And then I do like this as a downside entry. Also would flip Neptune on the hourly, so a nice confluence there. Key buying pressure lined up right there with one of our support resistance levels. That's that 2-factor authentication confluence, whatever you want to call it. Those are the levels of interest that I absolutely love to use when I'm setting myself up into a trade. I'm going to share a stop loss with the upside trade plan. First price target, I knew I was going to be adding one, but this is the level I've been looking at for a while here. There is potential little confluence down there with the 200 SMA. Don't know if that will be a huge factor, especially as long as these SMAs are inverted. So we're going to take a shot at this, making it down to 162.79. Below that, sorry, this is just in the way of seeing these candles. I want to kind of eyeballing this level, but I haven't fully vetted it yet. Yeah, there's something very close to this level, and again, while these levels can be laser to the penny accurate, sometimes you have to also be willing to give a little bit of like a reasonable range to either side. Margin of error. An interesting bounce down here. Question is, did that trigger off of something established, or was there a moving average on some time frame that it bounced off of, and that's going to be a one-off flash in the pan? I think there is a level right about here. Yeah. So let's see where that lines up. Does that catch that wick or those bodies? Yeah, pretty good. Okay, I'll take that. PT3 for puts. Let's turn the indicators back on. So this is what our Broadcom trade plans plural. So I guess it's upside, or there's an upside and a downside plan, but overall, if I'm doing a plan, I'm ready to go whichever direction. So for me, it's all just one plan. AVGO live stream plan. Posting that in the chats and also in the options watch list in the Xtrades Discord community. So what are we looking at for Broadcom? We are looking for a break over 172.72 to take calls and play for the upside. Again, remember, we're going to start small, scale some out for profit there at PT1. If it rejects, make sure that you've moved your stops up. Don't let those contracts go red. If it breaks through and continues, add back into the trade and average up using those positions you're still holding to ride higher. And again, make sure that you move your stops up as well. So we're looking for a break over 172.72. First target 175.55. Second target 178.87. Third target 182.53 with a stop loss average down at 169.73. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 166.80. That should give us targets at 162.79, 160.66, and 157.80 with a stop loss average down shared with the upside trade plan there at 169.73. Those are your Broadcom trade plans. Let's go. All right, let's do SOXL, and then I'll try to bounce back over to Rivian for... so I hope that's helpful, Sataru. Hope you're doing well, my friend. And then let's take a look at Rivian. Alex Heat was asking about Rivian. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at SOXL, 3x leverage semiconductor ETF. New trader, I would assume that you are wheeling. SOXL. I know you like the wheels. And SOXL, with it being a leveraged ETF, definitely one that you can get some strong premium collections out of. All right, let's see. Last SOXL trade plan I did, it was much lower than where it is now. Trade plans there. Let's kind of clean this up just like we did with our other chart. Yeah. All right. So it's been a little while since I've looked at SOXL. Let's zoom out for a second. In a dilemma, if I should sell some covered calls or just sell the shares for some profit. Current price is under your buy price. Have you been selling covered calls against your current share position? In which case, at least the way that I like to look at that, you know, I track that as essentially a debit against my net cost per share. So I guess the question is your actual cost per share, if you've been collecting premium, your net cost per share the same as your buy price? You're at about break even on what you think your net cost per share is. Okay. All right, well, let's talk about it. That's an interesting... It's like yeah, I kind of have this weekly level off by quite a bit. I'm not sure how I managed that unless I accidentally grab that line trying to move something else on the chart at some point. Definitely looked off though. Could be of interest. I'm probably getting too far removed from the current price, but I'm just going to take a look at one more. If we can even see another weekly or any more resistances overhead here on the weekly. This is iffy. Probably a daily level. So as high as we need to go. Let's see. Whoops. 24-hour is what I wanted. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Good. Sorry, kind of got deep into my thoughts and looking at this chart for a second there. Didn't mean to go totally radio silent on everybody. All right. Yeah, there's definitely a confluence. Pretty interesting one right here at 3209 that I'm already liking. It's a potential call entry that would also be a good resistance to look to potentially collect some premium. Yeah. Yeah, Neptune will show you some stuff that maybe you didn't want to see. unless you had it already, in which case it would hopefully tell you the right places to be looking to get in and out. But yeah, it's, well, you know, we've only looked at a couple of time frames. It could be shifting on the smaller time frame, so let's not get too nervous yet as far as bearishness on SOXL. The other challenge that you have with it is because it's leveraged, right? It's using options to gain that leverage. So believe it or not, your shares do have some theta decay. That's kind of the easiest way to explain it. So the longer you hold, kind of the more the share price tends to struggle unless you're getting really good moves in your favor. This is an interesting level as well. All right, so how do we want to see? Yeah, we're already here on the hourly flipping some things, you know, to the bullish side. SMAs are still inverted but curling to the upside. All right, so I think the big question, or the question that I'm wrestling with personally, is do we want to use 3209 as the entry or use 3209 as the stop and then use 3313 as the entry? We use 3313 as the entry. I think we're looking at, it could be up here actually. I think we're looking at 34.96 as a first price target. I know I said that with a lot of question in my voice, but I'm just kind of trying to, I don't want us to get into this too early. At the same time, I also don't want to get caught chasing. So this is, let's go with, when in doubt, be patient. So we'll wait for 3313 to break. Use 34.96 PT1, stop loss at 32.09. Second target right up here at 36.31. Last target, yeah, see a lot more activity around that 37.79. So that's the upside plan sorted. Downside plan, Yeah, it doesn't really get interesting for downside until we break below 29.57. There's also another level there. This is just of no consequence anymore at this point. That's going to be our stop loss. First target. Yeah, I think we're looking for this weekly level. Gives us looks like a little bit better than 1-to-1 on that risk reward. I think this weekly level might be just a tiny bit higher, like right there. Also makes for a good PT2 and then PT3 right here at 25.81. Let's see if we can go 2 for Thursday. And then, man, 4 minutes before I really need to break away for the SPY plan. The question is, I'll take a quick look at Rivian. I'll try to see if we can't nail a really fast trade plan on it. Then we could potentially go 3 for Thursday. All right. So, hey, what's up, Susan? Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Here is the SOXL trade live stream plan. Then watch lists. All right, so let's talk through SOXL super fast, and then I'm going to try to get in something for Rivian for Alex. So what are we looking for here on SOXL? We're going to be extra patient. We're going to wait for 33.13 to break to get into calls. There is a potential early entry there at 32.09, but I think overall the outlook and the room to the upside looks a lot better over 33.13. So be patient on this one, but over 33.13, we're then looking for targets at 34.96, 36.31, and 37.79 with a stop loss average down at 32.09. To the downside, we're looking for a break below, what is that, 29.57. That should give us targets at 28.19, 27.08, and 25.81 with a stop loss average down at 31.21 for that downside trade plan. That is SOXL for you. All right, let's take a quick look at Rivian. How quickly can I do it? Do I have good levels ready to go? Previous trade plan, not far off from it. Levels look pretty good still. Clear ceiling right here. It's really struggled with and isn't too far away. Looks like we did Rivian Tuesday back in October. So the question is, if it can break back over this PT3 for calls, it does kind of look like it could make a good move. Thinking up to here. Let's see, I think there was a recent push above that level. Yeah, they both got up to that level at least. Stop loss average down. So this is also going to wind up being could it be a little tighter? I was kind of looking at this level. Yeah, you know what? We are going to tighten it up just a little bit. Trying to fly through this one. Second target. Yeah, that really seems to be the tougher level in that mix. 13.13, and then we'll let it run for 13.61. I do like that as a third price target. Downside, Neptune confluence there. Share a stop loss with the upside trade plan. Lots of things that I like to see. First target, I'm going to say takes us down to 1070. We are running the risk of running into these SMAs, so be warned. Those could be potential support issues there. 1070 first target. Like this. 1034 second target. Third target, let's use our previous put entry. Oh, we were able to do it. How about that? So we're going to try to go 3 for Thursday here. We did 2 for Tuesday. Let's see if we can do 3 for Thursday. Get all 3 of these hitting upside or downside targets sometime here in the next couple of weeks, especially with that SOXL being a little bit wider and waiting a little longer for the entries. I need some time before we see anything happen on it. But we did get 3 in. Had to fly through it, but we got it done for you, Alex. Live stream plan. All right, whoops. Let's get back over to the live stream chat. Huh? No, I don't want to reorder channels. And in the watch list, last but not least. All right, so going to talk through this real quick. We're looking for a break over 12.13 on Rivian. We're testing it here pre-market. That should give us a potential breakout to the upside and try to make a move all the way up to 12.72. Got some potential headwinds in the mix there, but I think if you give it enough time, we could see it make that push. It is making higher lows right now as well, all things to be noted. So over 12.13, we are looking for targets at 12.72, 13.13, and 13.61 with a stop loss average down at 11.72. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 11.29 with targets at 10.70, 10.34, and 9.90 with a shared stop loss average down with that upside trade plan at 11.72. Those are your Rivian live stream plans. This is your Xtrades FOMO live stream for Thursday, December 5th. I need to go get to work on the SPY plan so I can get that posted for our Discord community members. If you guys haven't already given us a shot, come check us out. Chris did post the link in the YouTube chat. He will help you through the process of understanding all that we have going on, because it is a lot to take in. It's like drinking from a fire hose for the first couple of weeks, but once you start to absorb it all, it starts to make a lot of sense, and it'll become a place that you'll want to continue to spend your time and aid you in your trading journey. So with that being said, as we always say here on the FOMO live stream, plan your trades, trade your plans, go out there and get some green, keep your wins big, keep your losses small. I hope you all have a fantastic day and a great weekend. We'll be back next Tuesday morning at 8:30 a.m. So until then, this is JTW signing off. Hope everybody has a great day. Thank you for joining me. Talk to you soon.